Hello, my loves. I wanted to hop online and update you and also share some wisdom with you because I have just got back from an amazing weekend in a mastermind with some kick ass female entrepreneurs who are all running 7, 8, or 9 figure businesses. And I'm definitely one of the smallest fish in that pond. And it was so great to really see how sisterhood of such powerful women can create, oh my goodness, true miracles, seriously. But that's not the reason why I'm hopping on to tell you just that. The reason why it really came up as a urge in me was because in that mastermind, I realized that, I was doing sessions one-on-one with my colleagues and friends and female entrepreneur buddies, right? And they always came to me and they said, Joy, how do you do it? How do you do this? It's magic. What is it that you do? So I really went within and I dug deep. And then I said, okay, if I had to explain what is it that I do, because I know it's not just something that I can do, I know that it is what I'm basically teaching others to do too. If I could make that so simple that I can say it's just 5 steps, how would I describe them? So who better to share that with than with you guys? So here are my 5 steps to overcoming an obstacle. Because if we boil it down in life, it's usually one obstacle. It's one thing that's stopping us from taking that next step, that next thing that we know we need to do to get closer to that bigger goal that we all have, right? And every one of us has a different goal. But the same thing that is stopping us, that obstacle, is usually one thing. Do you agree? Okay, so the first step is to identify the obstacle, to say, what is that one thing that is stopping me right now? And it can be a limiting belief. I could be telling myself some disempowering story the whole time, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm just never going to get this, or I'm just not smart enough, or I'm not rich enough, or I'm not beautiful enough, or I don't know, I could be hanging on to some old story, some trauma in the past, right? There could be just something that I know, and I know what it is, that is stopping me from really putting myself out there, being all of who I be in my most joyful state, right? So once you identify the obstacle, you've done step 1. Step 2 is then to find the root cause. Now, when I go and find the root cause, you know that I know there are only 3 possibilities. It's either something that happened in this life, usually in childhood in the first 7 years, but could also be in pregnancy, or it's something that's handed down to me from a past life, right? Or it's something that's passed on to me genealogically. So those are the 3 options that I have. And when I test this in muscle testing. I know this in my intuition. That's part of the psychic skills that I have, that we all have once we know how to tune into them, right? Then I identify, what is that root cause? Where do we need to go back to in the timeline to fix it there, to take that limiting pattern that was created out and put something better in. Get it? Okay, so that's step 2. Then step 3 is to download the new empowering pattern. So now that we've released that limiting pattern, we're now downloading and integrating new beliefs, new thinking patterns, new neural pathways, basically, right? And then in that step 4, when we're downloading that new patterning, we are making it one with our DNA. We're literally retraining our brain. We're shifting something, okay? And then step 5 is to align with the quantum self, with that greatest, grandest version of ourselves. So that's where I use all kinds of techniques, from neurolinguistic patterning to hypnosis to suggestions to mantras, just to get that client, myself, or whoever it is in that moment, aligned with that best version of us, with that greater goal, with our biggest potential. Because when we do that, we're vibrationally again in the state to actually create what we want. Makes sense? So those are the 5 steps that I do every single time I coach someone, every single time I help someone break through a sabotage, because it really only is usually one thing that's stopping us. And when we shift that, suddenly a whole new timeline reappears, all new possibilities and options appear, because then we're actually in our power. We can make wise decisions, and we can also follow the signs of the universe. So when we're able to read life in a way that we know, oh, okay, this is an experience, this is what I am feeling about this experience, this is the story I'm telling myself about the experience, how do I feel? Am I feeling triggered, upset, or am I still feeling good? If I feel powerful, then I will be able to do what it takes, right, to move ahead. And that is exactly what I teach in the Oracle training. That is exactly what I do in my VIP coachings. That is exactly what we do in our crystalline coaching community, is we follow those 5 steps again and again and again to stay aligned with our best selves. Because when we are, life's amazing. Everything is just elevated because our vibrational state rises, because we're able to really, be in that frequency to be the best channels of ourselves. And then it's really up to us if we want to take it a step further and become a professional channel. And all that means is that you say, okay, I will be of service to others to bring messages to them, to bring healing to them, to do, transformational work, whatever it is that you want to do with that channeling. It could also be that you advise businesses, that you are able to be a strategic consultant to others to say, okay, this is a wise choice, this not so much, here's what you need to do. I think we all need wise counsel in life every now and again, right? And I feel that wise counsel comes from someone who's neutral and who can be a clean mirror to show us something that we're not seeing, to make us aware of things that we might be overlooking, and to help us realign again with who we really are. Because I know we're all amazing beings. That I am sure. We just get in our own way every now and again. So I would love to invite you to be part of the Oracle training, to learn not only those 5 steps, but to be in a beautiful energy field for 4 days with hundreds and hundreds of other kindred spirits who all want to awaken that best self in themselves, who want to experience a bath of energy. Literally, that's what it is. When so many people do that with the same goal in mind, right? To become the best version of themselves, to connect to that quantum self, to bring so much light into themselves and into that room, whether it's, physically in the room in Lazize or whether it's online, everything just lights up. So if you want to be part of that, then I really invite you to take your time and make time to be part of the Oracle training end of March in Lazize, or to just get that online ticket and buy the live stream now, because then you will have access to this training for your entire life. And my life does an amazing job at re-editing all the videos of the training in a way that it really is an online training. So you get the same PDFs, the flow charts, you can go back to the exercises, you can go back to the meditations, you can really enjoy that energy bath again and again. Even the dance breaks. Honestly, how often throughout a day would it do us good to be part of a community where we're all dancing together just to shift our state? But how often do we do it? Well, in the Oracle training, you will be dancing. You will not only be dancing, we will also be doing amazing new breathing techniques. So I learned so much in my yoga training to become a yoga teacher just in January, right? I did this 3-week deep immersion, and I learned so much about myself, about life, about the body, about how we can continuously clean our channel so that we are those clean mirrors. And we can have that awareness for ourselves. That means that we are able to do those 5 steps, right? That we're able to have that awareness to say, okay, I'm identifying the obstacle right now. I'm going to the root cause. Technically, we can all do these 5 steps, but it just takes a lot of awareness and mindfulness to do that, right? So I will be teaching you breathing techniques that take you back into that state of mindfulness again and again and again until it becomes a second habit, a natural habit, and it becomes something that's part of your flesh and blood. Get what I mean, right? So when we do that continuously, and when we do it for 4 days straight, can you imagine what change you create in yourself, in your brains? And I think that my favorite part of these trainings, that the Oracle trainings, are day 2 and day 3. Because usually, and this is just my experience. It might be totally different this time. The time frame might be changed because things usually speed up, but usually on day 2, things get a little sticky because that's when we face our shadows. That's when stuff starts coming up. That's when we have to overcome obstacles. That's, when the energy sort of gets a little like that. And then in day 3, suddenly it blasts open because we have, as a collective, as a community, all these hundreds of people and thousands even online, right? When we all go through our stuff together, through that stickiness, with the goal to just keep breaking through, keep connecting to the quantum self, as a community, we lift. We literally all rise. And those are the days when I walk in the morning and I go on stage and I see that the audience, I'm getting goosebumps, is lit up. And you can literally see this. I'd so love you to see this one day. And I'm really curious also to check the recordings to see how it's this time in the meditations. Because when we do those group meditations, you literally see the auras of the participants light up. It's magical. It looks like lots of glowworms. Did you know those? We have beautiful little glowworms in the summer here at the sanctuary. They're magical. And that's the kind of magic that I feel you really can only create in a live experience. And these live experiences where we have that community and we have that sisterhood and brotherhood where we can hug each other. Have you thought about that? That physical touch is also beautiful to experience in such a safe setting where we're just creating more good and we're raising our frequencies. I just love these oracle trainings, and I really look forward to being there with you and you and you and you and really getting the vibes really high, so that we can lift the consciousness. And I think that's really what these trainings are actually about on a bigger level. It's the bigger why of connecting a group of light workers, of making sure that we are all channels of light, of love, of compassion, of community, of support, of collaboration, of peace. and when we do that, we're creating a network, a grid around this planet. And that makes me so incredibly happy because it's now becoming an international movement. This is no longer about Joy Martina's oracle training. This is about thousands of people saying, yes, I want to wake up to my best version of self. I want to know who my quantum self is, and I want to keep realigning to all of who I am for the better of this planet. Because when we do that, we can give more, we can shine brighter, we can complete our missions, we can contribute to communities and societies. And I feel that it's such a crucial time right now to do that. And it's also the time of that feminine rising that I think we're all feeling, of that the thousands of years of patriarchy are crumbling, and a lot of men on the what should I say, the stages of life through the Me Too movement, through a lot of movements on this planet, are having to take a step down. And that's happening for a reason. That's happening because I think we're seeing on a global level that we cannot continue like this. If we continue robbing the planet of its resources, if we continue engaging in so much war, in so much hatred, and so much separation, we're all suffering, right? And that's why we have to connect to that best version of ourselves so we can find solutions that actually help this planet, because there's no planet B. We all might think we have a plan B for all of this, but there's no planet B, right? And I think the time has come right now for all of us to take a stand. And if you're still watching, then maybe you're feeling that time too in your heart to take a stand of what you believe in. And if you believe in more joy on this planet, for more peace on this planet, more compassion, more intuition, that we follow our intuitive wisdom more rather than our ego, rather than forcing something just because we think some capitalistic conditioning has told us to always strive and earn just more money and I don't know, have more stuff. That can't be what it's about. I think that's what we're all sensing. We all want a deeper meaning in life and feel more ease and more community, more support, more safety, more love, right? So if you feel that too, then join us and stand up for what you believe, and also invite others to really take this chance to awaken, and to take maybe 4 days out of your life to spend time for you, and spend time to really dig in what it is that you want to see happen in this life. So I see that every Oracle training helps every single participant get really clear on their mission in life, and stop the bullshit and the excuses that often hold us back from just moving on and doing what needs to be done. So I'm so glad to see you here, Sylvia and Jenny. We will definitely be doing some yoga. Hell yeah. You know, I learned so many ways how to do yoga without yoga mats because the challenge is in big workshops with so many people that we don't have the space for everyone to have a yoga mat. Usually it's chairs, right? We have chair and dancing room because that's kind of the space that we have. And I think it's good and beautiful, but no mats. So we will be doing chair yoga. Did you know how powerful chair yoga is? I had a lot of prejudice about chair yoga because I thought, that's old people yoga. That doesn't challenge me. That must be boring. But you know what? Not true. In the last retreat, in the Ignite Your Flame retreat, we had a couple, and the gentleman in the couple was not that flexible. And, you know, he was an older guy and he hadn't been moving much lately. So we did a lot of chair yoga to also help him really tap into his body's wisdom and discover, you know, I can change stuff. I can start moving again. And chair yoga is powerful. So the young ones in the chair yoga sessions were all quite sort of, I didn't know this could be so intense. So we'll be doing chair yoga. We'll be doing the breathing techniques that I was mentioning that really get your brain in a deeply relaxed brainwave state and help you focus. So a big key to channeling, to good channeling, is that you're able to hold your focus on that energy, to keep it on the message and not on your busy mind, right? So just imagine you're channeling and then you're actually going through your grocery list. That would not work. So by learning these breathing techniques and practicing them together, don't forget that. It's not just learning something by like reading a book. How often do we read a book, but we don't practice the stuff that's in it? No? Right. Okay. So by practicing these breathing practices, you will notice that we all go into an altered brainwave state, because we're all going into theta usually. And the theta brainwave state is not only deeply relaxed, it's a very powerful brainwave state. When a room full of people go into theta, that means that their bodies, obviously, as well, go into a healing state. So a lot of physical shifts happen in the Oracle training. That's maybe another favorite part of mine. And then it all culminates in the speed channeling. And it's so funny. I mean, nowadays, I think it's really funny. It really causes me a lot of amusement to see how much fear comes up in people when they hear about the speed channeling. When it's time, when the rubber meets the road, and it's actually going to be time to actually channel and not just talk about it, not just sort of do it behind curtains, but actually be that vulnerable and say, yeah, I'm just going to jump. I'm going to be there blindfolded, and I am going to answer 3 questions, and I'm just going to allow those answers to come through me from source, from crystalline, from my highest guidance, from my highest self. You know, when we do that as a room, it's moving, it's transformative, because people are really hearing that pure message without any filters, without any, there's no, you know, the one channeling has no other intention than to deliver a message that serves the other's highest good. That's the intention that we have. So think about it. How often are you able to have even a conversation with someone who is that focused on you and has that intention? Because so often when we're actually talking to someone else, we're just thinking about the next thing that we want to say. True? But as a channel, you are only there to deliver the message that this person needs to hear, the message that's going to help them move forward, that's going to help them heal something, that's going to help them align them with their highest self. So I see oracles as people who are literally going round awakening others just by their presence. You know, it's different levels of consciousness and different levels of evolutionary process, I guess. But in our highest state of, let's call it enlightenment, for lack of better wording right now, we literally heal by our presence. And that doesn't take because we're doing some fancy circus trick, or because we're, I don't know, spouting wise words the whole time. We're not talking the whole time. We're just being. And as oracles, we're basically learning that. And it depends, you know, how far we want to take it, and how quickly we want to move, and also what our life's mission is. But not everybody who comes to the oracle training desires to be a crystalline oracle. They actually desire to become their best version of self. And when they become their best version of self, they naturally start tuning into that highest vibration more and more. And then they discover that, you know, life not only becomes easier, your path gets clearer. And you start learning how to read the signs of the universe. So we'll also be doing card reading. I think cards are a beautiful tool to use to be able to really read the messages of the day, to learn why is whatever is happening to me right now actually great. How can I pull the lesson from what's happening, and how can I see what I'm maybe not seeing? Because we all have blind spots, right? And because of those blind spots, sometimes we can perpetuate bad habits that we actually could toss, but just because we haven't become aware of them yet, we are continuing there. But if we have that mirror, that awareness of self, we can actually change this stuff in ourselves. So know that. And cards are a great way to make it visible, because you have a tangible proof, a message, right? So when we learn how to do card readings, and I'll show you, it's so simple, and you will have so much fun doing it. Even kids, kids especially, enjoy doing card readings and having that power for themselves to reflect and to see, oh, how does this message sit with me? Then you'll see that card readings are a very playful, beautiful way to bring messages from the divine to people, to loved ones, to yourself. They're a great ritual to start a day. I do a card reading every single day in the morning, just to know what is the vibration of today, what is my message for today, what is it that I need to do today. So taking that time for silence every morning really is something that I really encourage you to do. So there's my tip for today. Write it down, make a note, make a commitment even, that you will take time for silence today. And then maybe you want to make another commitment and say, you know what, Joy? I'm going to sign up for the Oracle training. I am going to be there on live stream. I'm going to be there in person. We get tagged. I am going to actually do something about that big goal that I have in my heart, that heart's desire that I have. I'm actually going to make it happen. And I promise you that I will be there doing my utmost to kick your butt in the most loving way, and to be the cleanest mirror for you, and to help you really hold your hand and take you through not only the 5 steps that I talked about in the beginning of this video, but also take you through that process of becoming that super clean channel. And channeling is really about cleaning yourself of all attachments, of negative emotions, of toxic stuff at a regular basis, so that you can be that most radiant self. Does that make sense? Hey, I see so many of you. I actually made a mistake or not, it's not a mistake. What are mistakes? They're just things that go differently than you think you planned them, right? So there are no mistakes. I chose to broadcast this on the Joy Tribe, where my intention beforehand was to just broadcast this in the closest community around me, and that is the Crystalline Coaching community. But there we go. I'm in the Joy Tribe and you're all watching, and that makes me really happy, because it means that more people get to see this video. Because in the coaching community, we're behind closed doors. behind closed curtains, and we really get to dive into those issues that every one of you maybe have. So we have hot seats and we talk about everything that needs to be talked about. So our members come with all kinds of obstacles that they're being challenged with, and together we shift them. And you know, the beauty of that community is that we keep each other accountable. So that accountability actually helps us do the things we need to do, because sadly, only 3% of all people, can you imagine that? Only 3% of all people, this is a global statistic, who do workshops, who do transformational, I don't know, retreats or whatever it is, actually apply what they learned. Isn't that sad? That's why I always say the experience itself has to be mind-blowing and heart-opening, so that that shift is so powerful that you feel it, that it's tangible. And that's what the Oracle training does for sure. But, you know, afterwards, it's I know, important to have a community that really supports you and that answers the questions that you have, who's there for you when you're struggling. And in the coaching community, we do just that. I love our family. And it's so beautiful to see us all grow, because we're all lifting each other up, because no question is too stupid, no topic is too out there. Whatever my coaching members need, but I will try and provide. And we meet twice a month on Zoom, so we all see each other, we all know each other by name. And from all parts of this world, we have Italians, we have Swiss, Germans, Austrians. Must make sure I don't forget a country right now. Oh, we have a lady from Luxembourg. They're from all over the place. And we all get together to work on ourselves. And, you know, I'm part of it every 2 weeks, just as much as Roy is when he's here. And also Roy is always there. That's my husband, Dr. Roy Martina. He's always there to answer any holistic medical questions you may have, anything about homeopathy, about acupuncture. I mean, he's a wizard in himself. Right? He's been doing alternative medical healthcare, you can say, in biggest way for 35 years now, right? From running his own practice to now setting up a holistic medical clinic. He's in the process of, you know, getting the funding for that, getting all the business plans together. It's very exciting what's happening right now if we see how much change is happening on this planet in exactly those fields. So anyway, you get to ask all questions that you have, maybe around any health topics that you're maybe struggling with, or even, you know, questions about supplements, or where do you get this, or how do you do that, or Joy, how do you keep your skin looking nice, and what do you do with your hair? how do you do your nails? I don't care, you know, any beauty questions, anything about meditation. Right? Meditation is huge. And that is also, I want to link back to the Oracle training again. Meditation is something that I feel gets such bad rep, or is often put out there, something that is so elusive to us, just because we weren't taught how to do it. And in the Oracle training, I will be teaching you many different ways how to get into a meditative state. And we will also be chanting mantras. Do you know why? Guess why? Any ideas? We chant mantras because mantras also have certain vibrations, and especially when they're Sanskrit mantras. So I've been studying yoga, and I've been studying also the Vedic traditions and Ayurveda. So I learned a lot there about Sanskrit, and Sanskrit is a very, very special language that was actually created just for its vibrational sound. So each word is so specific that its vibrational frequency is actually more important than its meaning, because meaning and frequency, you know, are very united. And in the mantra chanting, we're allowing those frequencies to move through our bodies. So that in itself is a very healing thing to do, because you keep recentering, you keep realigning with that highest vibration. And those vibrations literally clean your body like a pipe cleaner. Imagine that. So we'll be doing that as well. And because as oracles, we're using our voice. So I noticed that especially women can often have trouble in really using their voice, in standing up and speaking out for themselves. And this is a global phenomenon, I think. But as oracles, we have to remove that. We have to be able to say what needs to be said. And isn't it true that so often when situations where only afterwards we say, "Oh, I know I should have said." Well, as an oracle, you learn to say what needs to be said in the time that it needs to be said. So in that moment that it needs to be said, you're ready. And that's a skill you can learn. And when we start using our voice for things like chanting mantras, allowing frequencies to move through us, that is also a way of cleaning our channel. So thank you for that question. I'm reading questions now. Sylvia, meanwhile, we have a message at the service of others. It is also at our self-service. Okay, so I think what I hear from your question, Sylvia, is, does it mean when we're being of service to others by bringing messages that we're also able to bring messages to ourselves? Hell yes. That's where you have to start out. So that's why in the Oracle training on module 1, we're just working on self. We have to know how to connect to our highest self first before we can start bringing funky messages from other intelligences. Because you see what otherwise happens, and I've seen this sadly often in mediums or channels who are amazing channels, but they then get sick themselves. And I think that is not what we want. We want to be able to use channeling as a way of bringing the highest frequencies through our bodies and then out into the world. And when something flows through our body, it should do us good, right? So we have to know how to take care of ourselves. We have to know how to keep our channels clean and safe and healthy. And that is something that we start out with in the Oracle training, and then we build it up. But even if you haven't done the first Oracle training, you can still get it online as the training, as a module, and then you can watch it. You have enough time until the end of March to just, watch the highlights of it and learn even just the meditation of connecting to your highest self. That's enough. If you do that, sleep with that. Practice it maybe in your lunch break, you're ready for module 4. You don't need any other training. And even if you do nothing, even if you come without any previous training, you will create change for yourself in those 4 days. There's no way around it. I mean, you can't be that stubborn to be in that amazing vibrational field for 4 days and not experience anything. I've never known anybody who's that numb, honestly. And I've been doing this for quite a few years. I have never experienced anybody walk out of the trainings and say, I didn't experience anything. Nothing happened. We get amazing feedback, and that keeps me going. If it weren't for the beautiful feedback that you share of what's changing in your lives, of how much easier it's getting, or how much more success you're having, or how much happier you are, it has to be measurable. If it weren't for all that feedback, I would be doubting what I do. I wouldn't be doing this, because what would be the point? I'm doing this because I know it works, and I want to share this with more people, because I think this should be taught in schools. We should be teaching our children how to connect to their highest selves. We should be teaching them how to manage their emotions, how to meditate, how to practice yoga. It's not so out there. I think the way we're teaching our kids right now in our educational system on a whole is outrageous. It's really not serving us. It's not serving our brains. It's not serving this generation. There's so much better ways of bringing knowledge to the young. Wouldn't you agree? But I won't go on that rant now, because that's not what I hopped online for. So this is turning into a Q&A, and I'm good with that. I love being at service. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my little heater on, because it's getting a bit chilly in this room. So shoot ahead. Inge, Sylvia, Beatrice, Francesco, Jenny. So many amazing souls online. So let me serve you. What can I do for you? I have 12% of battery left, so shoot ahead. Is there anything you would like to know about the Oracle training, about something that you're struggling with in life? I am here to answer your questions. And if you don't ask me questions, I will keep talking. You know me. Hey, Deborah. So good to see you. I want to give a shout out to Deborah Nave, because we're talking right now. Deborah is an amazing friend, oracle, a participant of private retreats here in Asheville. Remember, she came to the heart healing retreat. You're an amazing student friend, soul sister. Mwah. And I want to thank you for posting and sharing about the Oracle training. So it means so much to me when you share your experiences and when you tell me what's changed in your life, and you're also sharing this with friends. That's the biggest compliment you can give me, and it means the world to me. So thank you, Deborah. Thank you for doing that, and thank you also for being such an amazing member of our coaching community in the past, and now a member in the Joy Tribe. I love seeing you fly. That's mwah. So, any last questions? Anything I can do for you, my friends? Hi, Mirelle. Okay, well, then it's up to me to wish you a beautiful day. I hope you're thriving and you're spreading joy. Remember, come to the Oracle training end of March. You can join online or come live to Lazise in Italy. We're going to be broadcasting in 3 languages, English, German, and Italian. There are no more excuses. It's time for you to step on board, become your best self, and let's get cracking. I love you. Bye-bye.